Back in the shadows where the suits play the games. Old guard at the helm, chasing short-term gain. They shipped out the stock, watched the empire fall. No fire touched their dough, they didn't care at all. Leaking value like a sieve in the rain. Faithful held tight through the cold and the pain. Whispered sweet nothings, but it was all fake. Dragging down the dream with the risk they take. But the tide was turning, whispers in the air. A chewy king rising with a vision so rare. No more begging scraps from the corporate feast. Time to claim what's ours, unleash the beast. They don't give a damn when they don't understand. Old ghosts left us tied up in knots. Lions in the light, spitting truth so tight. Dropping bombs on my box, setting stages alive. Bitcoin in the fall of the 5 bill strong. Cash stack climbing high where the weak went wrong. Rising from the ashes, feel it in our veins. Lion's vision breaking all the chains. Now he's on the screen, Fox lights shining bright. Charles leaning in close, cutting through the night. Talking about the pivot from bricks to the chain. Not chasing sailor, but carving our name. Stapler on the shelf, undies up for bid. Mean king turned legend, just like we said. From the conference, the floor, Vegas heat in the air. Announce the buy where the confident flare. No more hollow words, no more empty suits. This is shareholder soul putting down roots. From the ashes we climb, balance sheet clean. 9 billion in the bank, living the dream. They don't give a damn when they don't own the stock. Old ghosts left us tied up in knots. Rhymes in the light, spitting truth so Jay. Dropping bombs on my box, setting stages alive. Bitcoin in the fall, over 5 bills strong. Cash stack climbing high where the weak went home. Rising from the ashes, feel it in our veins. Iron's vision breaking off a chain. They don't give a shit when they don't own any shares of gain. Stop old ghosts fade away. Ryan's leading the way. Bitcoin rising high. Cash flow never die. We're unbreakable now in this R&B fire. Unbreakable now in this R&B fire.
Well, I woke up this morning feeling mighty low. Looked at my hard drive, nowhere left to go. All them digital games stacked up in a row, but I can't trade them in, oh Lord, that's a blow. Used to walk to Gamestop with a case in hand, trade my old games in like a true game man. Now I'm stuck with pixels, locked in the cloud. Ain't no resale value, makes me wanna cry out loud. Oh GameStop, oh GameStop, you're the only hope I've got for a future where I own what I paid for. Steam and Epic, they got me in chains, selling me dreams, but it's all just pains. Download the game, but it ain't really mine, just a license to play till the end of time. I miss the smell of a fresh game case, the manual inside full of art and grace. Now it's all just bytes in a digital sea. Ain't no shelf to show what belongs to me. Oh, Gamestop, oh, Gamestop, you're the only hope I've got for a future where I own what I paid for, not alone.
In the glow of the ticker, where the diamonds hold tight, GameStop sitting at 23, but it's prime for the flight. Hedge funds short in the future, thinking they've got the edge, but the apes see the value, pushing right to the ledge. Cash piles stacking billions, no debt in the game. Undervalued treasure calling out your name. Oh, GameStop, prices of steel, yeah, it's begging to buy. 2288 closing, but the moon's in the sky. From the basements we rise, with the memes and the might, manipulation crumbles in the dead of the night. It's a steal, it's a deal, feel the squeeze coming near. GameStop's calling the faithful, drown out the fear. Roaring kitties whisper, echoes through the feed. Turn to retail or rebel into the stock that we need. Analysts saying 21, but we know it's a lie. Undervalued by 21%, watch the short sellers cry. Earnings on the horizon, September 9th in sight. Contrarian gold and retail shining oh so bright. Oh, GameStop prices are still right, it's begging to buy. 2288 closing, but the moon's in the sky. From the basements we rise, with the memes and the might, manipulation crumbles in the dead of the night. It's a skill, it's a deal, feel the squeeze coming near. GameStop's calling the faithful, drown out the fear. They called it a meme, but it's real as the 5 billions raised in hours. Power clear dynamite, no more playing the rules, we're rewriting the board. GameStop's the revolution, hear the retail horde roar. Market cap's 10 billion, enterprise half that strong. While the wolves keep on howling, we know where we belong. From the ashes of veil to the peaks we ascend, these prices are still all night. You can depend, hold fast, down in hands, let the legacy build. GameStop's the future, unbreakable, unyield. Oh, GameStop, prices of steel, yeah, it's begging to bow. 2288 closing, but the moon's in the sky. From the basements we rise, with the means and the might, manipulation crumbles in the dead of the night. It's a steal, it's a deal, feel the school coming near. GameStop forever, crystal clear.
Alright, guys, welcome back. I have no idea what to talk about today. Well, the song might give you a hint. Alright, hope everybody, I hope everybody's doing well. My coffee kind of turning cold though, so I might at some point go to warm it up. Let's see. It's 11 o'clock here, local time. Haven't been doing much video lately. I just feel like, man, um, Price is just doing nothing at the moment. I know it's like what else is the news around? Um, but so let's see. Okay, nobody's writing yet. I'm sure people will watch this later on, so I'm just gonna give the screen a little bit more of a real estate here, and I'll check back on the chat periodically. Welcome to Write Anything You Like. Anyway, so let's look at the chart real quick. Again, I have not been following too closely because right now I'm way too focusing on crypto at the moment. So last time I was on, I talked about kind of rotating my capital to my crypto holding a little bit more than GameStop at the moment, pretty heavily. So sorry to say, I have to take advantage of the dip. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on GameStop. Obviously, I'm still bullish on GameStop. I just think it's going to be slow burn at this moment in time. But hey, it's always the opposite too. So anytime the masses think that it's over, it's not, right? And so again, the same way with the liquidation and all that stuff. So that's why I was like rotating back into crypto at that moment, just to capture some of the, I guess fear. Anytime there's extreme fear, you want to buy, right? At least some, not all. So eventually, I'm gonna rotate back when there's profit time to take profit a little bit from my crypto as well, and I'm just gonna trim off slowly. I'm not trying to capture 10,000x over here, okay? I'm just gonna try to capture at least 2 or 3x, and then I'm coming back. But hopefully by that time, GameStop gonna still be around 30 or so. But then yeah, I'll be miss out on the 40%. But if crypto is gonna give me a little bit more of a boost, I'm hoping to capture some of that. Well, almost all, and if not more, of my um, GameStop shares, and I'm pretty confident in that. But again, hey, I'm taking so much risk to do this because I'm risking what if I cannot capture, uh, most of my share back from GameStop. But, hey, that's the risk I'm willing to take. But I'm not advocating anyone to do this because it could be going the other way too. So, and I'm risk adjusted in my mind. So if anything goes wrong, let's say crypto goes to zero tomorrow, I'll be fine. Right? I will still have my GameStop share, the amount that I comfortable with holding, and just my faith, right? That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go to zero either. See what I mean? My point is, I'm young enough to take this risk, so please make sure that you have your own risk assessment and all that stuff before you do something. And of course, it's not financial advice or anything like that. Just because I do something doesn't mean that you need to do that as well. Now, let's talk about the interview of Brian Cohen a couple of days ago. Listened to it quite a few times, and I think it's worth, kind of reiterating the fact that he's more long-term minded and he's not really, traders anyway. See what I mean? So if you are that type of like, oh, um, shaving and out and all that stuff, I'm sure, right? I'm a hybrid, obviously. So I'm not, you know, not to say that I'm not too fond of the interview. It's the fact that it's clear that he's already, telling you what he wanted, which is long-term investor, which I know, from since the time, he was out here. Um, but again, like the icing on the cake is maybe it's gonna squeeze, right? So that's always the caveat here. Um, my estimate, I think. Okay, so you know how Bitcoin is associated with the fact that GME is not doing well and all that stuff, and perhaps this is the reason why they're kind of timing this liquidation here in order to again cause fear in the crypto market, Bitcoin in particular, because that's what our GME is holding. So and also too the uh, report, the earnings report is going to be cut off. I think at the end of October, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, sorry. And perhaps this is the reason why they are not letting, quote unquote, crypto run yet, in terms of Bitcoin, right? But if you look at Bitcoin history, you would understand that the largest liquidation that happened a couple of weeks ago, right, was like the biggest in history of crypto. And the fact that it only cascade what this much, like 10%. And I know like since then it recovered a little bit back, but a bit back. So let's just say the largest liquidation in one day, though. It's only 10%, but uh, it caused this fear of, hey, crypto winter is coming and, and all that stuff. Narrative um, that, cause people to um, trim some of their profit if they've been there for a while, take a little bit of profit, right? And this could due to, institutional ownership wanting to accumulate more and more, right? And so they need that fear to cause retail to sell, okay? And yeah, retail did lose a lot of money because they were over leveraging. They trade 10x or whatever from their capital. If you have $1, you could over leverage to $10. Something crazy like that. And so any type of price movement against you with just 1%, you could blow off blow out your whole account. And there was a lot of people losing a lot of money because there was over um I guess over enthusiastic that because Bitcoin went up over here, like all time high a couple of weeks before. What happened? People, you know, getting too enthusiastic, and so what happened? you know, Everything was history then, right? And when I saw stuff like this, I'm like, it's over exaggerated to the point where I cannot pass out that opportunity. Okay. And I was in altcoin at the time, and XRP was one of my largest holding at the time. And I was like, this is not normal. Of course, like at this, well, let me preface this. Largest holding, not large enough to, GameStop at the time. I have more GameStop. But since then, I've been kind of diverting my capital to, and I'm glad that I did because when this stuff happened, I'm like, I can't even buy down here because people was just like, hey, this is not normal. People is just buying it up, and ever since then, you see this amazing runs, you know, 100% up. If you could catch at the very bottom, of course, like not many people could get could get their order filled. And so mine was over here when I first caught it. But again, even within this realm of operation right here, I was able to since then add more too. So around this level here, I was able to capture. I'm not long term holding this because I'm only there just to capture some of that gain from the fear of people just like freaking out. Um, my goal is to come back to GameStop, obviously. Right? That's what I'm trying to do. Again, very risky because most of my portfolio was accumulated through GameStop, and right now it's mostly something else. Okay. But with that being said, though, I don't know how long I'm gonna hold on to XRP because I feel like, and even crypto in general, I feel like there has been a lot of good development in crypto right now. JP Morgan just announced that it's going to be the pristine collateral, right? Or they're going to accept it to be the collateral, Bitcoin in particular, not XRP. But to me, again, if anything happened to Bitcoin, right, XRP is going to also be on that level. And on top of that, there was a not NFT, sorry, ETF that just got approved that has a sliver of XRP in that particular fund too. So that was the first of a kind. So the idea is that you could have like regular people could now um, own XRP through the ETF that was offered. Of course, that's still small in generality. So that's why I'm saying like you're still new to this asset class here. Um, but the fact that JP Morgan now is capitulating to add Bitcoin onto their asset holding and whatever as a collateral of all things, okay, is a good sign for Bitcoin for sure, and any company that hold Bitcoin as well. Okay, now because of the risk curve that I am a part of, okay, because I've been in crypto for quite some time, um, I like to say that I do. Um, I know that when Bitcoin uh, have this, what is it, accolades and all that stuff, there's a period of time when altcoin is doing much better than Bitcoin in terms of percentage. Um, but with that, though, how do you know you pick the right one? Of course, nobody knows, but because of the liquidity, kind of go into Bitcoin, and then people typically take profit from Bitcoin because they think it's too slow for them, right? And this is like retail, 101. They go into Ethereum, and then right now, institutions also heavily invested in Ethereum as well. So Ethereum's gonna do well. After Ethereum, right? When Ethereum goes up, and Ethereum's gonna outperform Bitcoin at one point or another. And then when Ethereum goes up, people take profit, and then they go to the other, crazy coins out there. So the crazy coin out there, that's what I'm also kind of trying to accumulate small little amount at a time to be prepared for the crazy return. Okay, but just again, very risky in that. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna buy because again, it could go bust anytime. So I don't want to advocate that. But of course, I when I mention Bitcoin, XRP, I know that these coins will be there um, for decades. Okay, because these are utility coins, and now it's becoming mainstream to the point where okay, now it's kind of safe to say, if you buy into this, make sure it's a long-term bet type of deal here. And if you want to trade in and out, of course, do it if you know how to do it, right? I'm trying to take advantage of that too. But just know that when you trade in and out and all that stuff, you occur a tax, liability over here too. So risk is so you have to outweigh the risk versus reward type thing. So, and learn that by yourself, please, before you do any of that. But the whole point of me, doing this is to, in my opinion, to increase my GameStop holding for even longer term. So my goal is to get 5,000 shares of GameStop at some point in my life. And so that because it's centuries, right? It's a century long. Hopefully, I would be able to live up to that. Another 100 years worth of life over here. And so again, that's why I'm accumulating that. But I feel so secure in you know in in my investment. That's why I try to do that in that way. But again, that's just my goal. 5,000 shares at some point in my life. Hopefully, that's gonna be soon. If not, okay, maybe just a few thousand is fine, as I had it before. Um, and anyway, so I was able to capture that. So I'm hoping by Monday I'm able to kind of come back to GameStop, but slowly. But hey, if this is gonna give me this, I guess hold on, giving me a good connection here. Yeah. So XRP obviously they have some Ripple is doing a lot of I guess acquisition and all that stuff. So I, this run perhaps it's not going to stay too long through the weekend, but I'm happy for that one. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I mean 20%, pretty good run right there. Right there. I'm happy though that I did that for that moment in time. But keep in mind, I'm not holding that portion that long. So my goal is to accumulate this company here. Still. Anyway, so let's come back to GameStop discussion here. I know a lot of people had done a lot of reaction video to um, Ryan Cohen interview. And I think most of the time I feel like um, it's pretty clear to me um, that he wants to be in this company for a long term, right? Um, and if you have not been clear on that already, I don't know what will convince you. So there's not new information so much. I know a lot of people feel as though he didn't like announce anything. But why would he want to announce it though? Like on this type of interview, if anything, you should be rest assured that he's gonna do the best he can, humanly possible, right? And the fact that he's kind of like deterring from AI and all that stuff. Not that he's not gonna use the technology. Obviously, it's been um, clear that the efficiency part of it is going to be used. Um, any type of tools to operate the company um, at the best efficiency possible, right? So the key for that interview was that they were able to cut so much expenses and cutting corporate, bloating of employee who may or not uh, who are not contributing to the growth of the company, right? Or the productivity of the company. He mentioned, um, you know, going from 1400, right, 1400 to 400 corporate employees. That is crazy. This is for that is a crazy reduction, and he was mentioning that um, having 400 people is more they're more productive having 400 people than having 1400 people. So just to show you the scale of efficiency that could also be um, looked at in the future if we want to expand this company. We if he wants to expand this company bigger than it is today, you could do that. And it's scalable to the point where, okay, so if you want to operate, another arm of whatever, but staying focused on gaming, e-commerce, selling things, right? As far as like, you know, selling things as quickly as possible, um, whatever, endeavor we're going to get into next, we could do that on the scale. Right now, I mean, the problem that he has mentioned was the fact that we don't have enough inventory for the trading card. So that's a good problem to have, I think, right? So, as far as the price go, it just annoys you guys, okay? The same way, with crypto too. With Bitcoin, anytime people think that it's gonna be over, it's not gonna be over. Um, was still waiting on that super cycle. I know, like, there's a controversial, um, point here, inflection point here, and that's why it's so potent, right? Because when you have that polarity, right, somebody's gonna break. So anytime it peaks to the upside, people are gonna be so bullish. Anytime it peaks to the downside over here, people are gonna be so bearish. And so whoever blink first, whether it's bull or bear, they're gonna be getting their lunch eating. But overall, though, just when in doubt, zoom out type of thing. What happened? You zoom out. Zoom out, you're gonna see that the trend is going up. Okay, not only the fact that the Fed is going to lower the rate, and apparently it's next week. That's the announcement. And it's pretty slam dunk that they are expecting to lowering the rate 25 basis point in order to aid in the job market. Okay. And so it's been telegraphed already, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Now, if there's a 50 basis point, there might be, some uh, like initial, knee jerk reaction first. Whether it's up or down, I don't know, you guys. Like, just like Ryan Cohen is saying, you never know what's gonna happen. Is it gonna continue to go up? Who knows? But to me, my time horizon for both of these asset class is always for long term. Like for me, if let's say XRP is gonna come down here and it was wrong, right? Um, doing that and then immediately dump, right? I have another year to pick the next cycle, right? So worst case scenario, I still have to wait for the next cycle to do, and again the same way with Jimmy as well, right? I still have some shares. If Jimmy goes first, that's my bad, right? It's my downfall for thinking that crypto is gonna do well before Jimmy. Oh, right here. Um, but again, that's my risk. that I'm willing to take, but of course, I don't think so. In my opinion, I think altcoin is kind of prime for that crazy return, right? But there's only a window of opportunity here, a small window of opportunity. So I don't want to, wait too long to take a profit either, because I know that that is going to be quick when it happens. But as far as, if Bitcoin, this is a bottom, okay? So why do we reference, Bitcoin all the time? Well, Bitcoin is like the benchmark for everything, right? If Bitcoin goes down, obviously other crypto is going to do way, way, way worse. This drop alone, if you were to compare, Bitcoin went down like 10%, right? But look at the altcoin, right? So again, that's why altcoin is so scary for people who doesn't know anything about this project, right? But all they know is that it's crypto, or some algorithm, stop loss hunting type of deal. This could also happen too, where people just immediately um, got scared. They might, okay, you don't know what happened to crypto, so they set a stop loss, and then there you go. And what happened? They stop loss hunting you, so now you're out of the position, right? So again, that's why stop loss is pretty dangerous to do if you believe in the asset class, right? So with that, if you were to down here, you see that again, this is utility based. Nobody believed in it when it was like down here, right? And even all of this, right? Why do I believe in XRP and it's gonna be for a long time? It's because it's use case, right? It's useful. At some point, it's going to be useful at some point in time, whether 10 years from now or not, right? And currently, they have this acquisition of Hidden Road and all that stuff. Go look at it for yourself. Right? Do your own research. And that's why I'm confident that to say that it's going to be around for decades on it here. It's going to be useful. Right now, they're testing it out. The whole tokenization thing and all that stuff is being said before, even before the lawsuit for the SEC, brought to you by Jay Clayton, right? Apollo Global Management. Like you all know the connection there with Morans and all that stuff. So again, that's suspicious. The fact that they're shitting on it, like they're trying to get the SEC to go after it and all that stuff. Just because that happened doesn't mean that the asset class in and of itself is not useful. It's probably the opposite because it's disruptive. And now, because it's the sea change of regulation with Trump coming in, of course, these very same institution that was demonizing these type of tool before, like JP Morgan coming out, you it's a good endorsement for sure for this industry, obviously. So that's why they're coming in droves now to try to make this innovation happen. Um, Not saying it's all blue skies from here. Obviously, there's still a lot of testing that needs to happen. But one of the things that I've noticed is like again, don't listen to me, please. Like I want you to go look at the metric that should matter to people. Okay, here's the metric I'm looking at here. For XRP to know that hey, it's being used. Okay, so this is Ripple, $1, and it's being mint on the Ethereum network as well, not just on the XRP ledger, but it has grown quite a bit. Okay, look at this chart and tell me that there's no activity whatsoever. Okay, so the price, again, the price could do all sorts of things. You guys, you know all the manipulation that happened. Okay, so don't worry about the price. Worry about the use case basis. Okay, is it being used? Is it actually how people are interacting with the network? And it seems to me, because of this, I mean, this is just one use case, you guys. Like, using it as a stable coin. Um, and Ripple is a company that, there's a history behind that. So go look it up. This is the company that acquire all those hidden road brokerage and all that stuff. So that's going to be tokenized, the whole tokenization uh, around the world here. But they're not going to come in at like $1 trillion, okay, at a time. Obviously, it's going to be hundreds of millions first, and then billions, and then trillion, okay, if it works out. So this technology is a instant settlement system. That's it. That's all it is. Okay, ledger based. Yes, there's different mechanism that people are using. Bitcoin is proof of work. Okay, this one is distributed ledger based. So it's a different mechanism. Just know that it's being used. Okay, I'm not saying that it's gonna be a gazillion dollars tomorrow. Okay, this is over time. Okay, value created over time is much more stable than value created. Now, of course, people are going to be, speculating, right? And that's what I'm waiting for people are speculating or capitulating. People were like, "Oh, this is a shit coin. It's not going to do anything. Look, I have, Doge, and Doge is a lot better than this particular shit coin, right?" So whatever slander that XRP has been through so far, it's been, out there for people to see already. But typically, when they're slandering uh, a particular thing, you might want to listen to the other side. Like, okay, why are they slandering? Like asking the right question, right? The same way with this one. Like this company has been slandered for quite some time. You've known all this tactic, so the same tactic is being used for this XRP for a long time too. And again, I could be wrong. Man, I've been wrong before. I thought the last cycle was going to be $27 last cycle. It hasn't been $27 yet, so I'm still waiting on that price point, right? So I think if anything now, with all of these acquisitions, with all of this, the Clarity Act, and Treasury is going to be using stablecoin in order to buy the Treasury bonds because nobody's really having the money to buy a Treasury at the moment, right? So all of that is going to be good for stablecoin type of chain, okay? Which means Ethereum's going to do well too, right? I'm not saying Ethereum is out of the woodwork here, but I think XRP is going to do much better than Ethereum. In terms of percentage. Um, it needs to prove its worth as well. Like, is it going to be functional and all that stuff, right? And one other metric that I use to look at this type of thing is this burning, of the token. So every time any transaction that goes on, a small sliver or portion of XRP is being burnt. And so far, I've been tracking this. So for quite some time, I think if you watch my video, kind of tracking that. I know this is kind of like crypto centric for whatever reason. A bit biased at the moment because I feel like. All right. So let's see. So this is what I track, just to see how many, token is being burnt. Okay. And then if I do the date here, so that's what I was tracking. So far, since I've been tracking it back in uh, last year, December of 24, close to a year yet. So it's been burning for the past year around 1 million token, which is not much, you guys, because there's like 100 billion tokens. Okay, but the idea is that the more the network is being used, if trillions and trillions and trillions of settlement system is going to go onto this particular chain, yeah, a lot of burning will be going on. So pretty soon, this is what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm tracking, is how many token is being burnt every year. Okay, and so once we get the number, we could see, okay, what is the valuation for XRP here? Okay, based on this use case, based on that use case, and all that stuff, right? Um, and another thing too is Flare, right? Flare, like Flare network, I guess it allows XRP user to use their XRP as a liquidity provider, so that if you want to switch from RLUSD to uh, to anything, right? Anything that is pegged to RLUSD, you could convert your crypto into whatever you know that network allows you to do, and then also to allows you to borrow other crypto in order to do whatever you want to do. But then when borrowing happens, you have to pay to the lender, and so that means you could lend out your um, XRP to whoever you wanted to. The same way, share lending and all that stuff. The whole point for that is to account for who owns what. Okay, so it's gonna get easier to decipher who owns what. Okay, so the problem with GME is that we don't know who owns those shares that are being shorted, right? And how many shares is being shorted. So again, that's what the use case for for blockchain is. Okay, to account for, okay, who owns what. We don't know who owns what. So the system of rehypothecation and all that stuff, it's just way too complex, and that's what XRP is trying to solve. Okay, trying to solve doesn't mean it's going to be succeeding. Other chains going to try to solve the same thing. Ethereum try to solve that too, right? And so who's going to win, right? And I think if the chain is cheaper for people to use, I don't care how how good of the tech uh, uh, what is it, Ethereum is, they're gonna go with the cheaper one. Okay. So, but anyway, a lot of people don't know this. I feel XRP was actually created before Ethereum. Okay, so just a perspective there. People to um, have a little bit of perspective. Now, just because it's being created before doesn't mean it's a top-notch technology. That's also another misnomer too. So just be careful. I know it's kind of like new in the traditional finance system, um, but I'm sure if there's money in it, right, they're gonna try to find a way to improve it, layers on it, and all that stuff. So builders gonna come and build on this chain for sure. I think that's the problem for XRP Ledger for quite some time, is the fact that because of the lawsuit, people were scared of building on top of this, because they don't see any viable um, you know value moving forward. But then Ethereum got a green light. That's why Ethereum have so much value now. It's because people were building on it, because again, they had a regulatory clarity at that moment in time. Okay, now you have a regulatory clarity on XRP and it's level playing field. So let's see who's gonna win out, right? And I think XRP is gonna capture most of the value for this bull run for sure, in my opinion, for sure. When I said for sure, I don't I don't have any crystal ball, but yeah, the gold rush, I think, is gonna come to XRP. All right, you guys. I know. Why am I so centrically talking about blockchain? I think again, it's bleeding into you know um, the problem that GME has. Okay, not the company. I'm talking about the trading aspect of it, right? And perhaps this is why we have not seen any run that is kind of exciting for traders, for anyone, momentum traders. Um, uh, sorry, even institution. I know institution who are like long term basis. People are probably will um, looking into this more and more now as a serious investment rather than a fly by night trading in and out and all that stuff. So and perhaps a lot of people got burned, anytime they think it's going to go up and they buy call options and all that stuff. Of course, we have warrant now. Let's talk about the warrant a little bit here. I know, when it was first issued, people were thinking it's going to go, well, including me, I thought it's going to go, you know, uh, $10 a shares and all that stuff, $40 a share or a warrant. Um, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. And maybe again because it's still people still viewed it as a dilution in the future. Perhaps that's the reason why the share hasn't done anything much, in terms of price. But keep in mind too, you guys, like there's a lot of you know dark pool activity and all that stuff. That doesn't mean that uh, the company in and of itself, um, the price of the stock, just because it doesn't move doesn't mean that it's not accruing value that you may or may not see out off exchange, volume and all that stuff. So that's going to prove to you um, that institutional ownership is going to come eventually. Maybe 2 more quarters of earning proving that we are going to go up from here, not only in price point in terms of earnings per share, but also the revenue beat as well. So that's what they are trying to see, I guess. The people who try to sit on the sidelines still, who may or may not, think that GME is a good investment. But you see, time and time again, institutional ownership is the most important metric that you should be looking at. Right now, we're around 40 or so, right? Close to 40. It used to be 30 something, 31 or something like that. Crazy, right? And so maybe we need to hit the inflection point of over 50 institutional ownership until, these big guys are, pouring capital into GameStop. Okay. In droves. So that's what we're waiting. Um, I know, I'm kind of being careful by saying this because again perhaps uh, there's another leg down to scare more people out of it. Okay, so that might not be uh, a popular point of view. So yeah, maybe that guy was right when he said that 18 or something is the target. Maybe after this one, because Bitcoin doesn't do well, showing a loss on Bitcoin holding because Bitcoin may not close at that, right? We might see after earnings or whatever, another dilution comes in, announcement, um, whatever the news is going to be. Just be careful on that. I'm selfishly kind of hoping that that is going to happen. I'm sorry to say. Selfish. Sorry. But even if it comes down, right, I don't think anyone would would be saddened by that at all. Um, let's see. But again, it could just be that wig down, okay? That happens here as well. That V-shaped recovery. Anytime people are selling, other people are going to scoop it up like crazy, just like how it happens over here. Okay, right there, this V-shaped recovery. So yeah, I would not, bet that it's gonna stay here forever until the end of time, right? Um, but yeah, I think Roy and Kitty is probably waiting on that too, to pounce in the right opportunity. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he's in crypto right now. Like time this um, to perfection and then come right back into GameStop after the crypto run. Yeah, I think if you listen to his old video too, like he did mention about jumping into Bitcoin at some point, and so to think that he's not monitoring the crypto market, it's kind of like naive to think. Yeah, but yeah, guys, it's such a exciting time to live, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of like political upheaval here that is happening, but all in all, the debt looming crisis or the government shutdown, all of that is happening too. So anything could happen. Uh, in my opinion, you know, just do the best you can, right? And I think your investment is going to hopefully get you the life that you want. That's what I'm trying to do for my life. But anyway, let's see if anyone. Oh, cool. Hello, hello, Michael. According to I'm not into DJT right now. That stock, I don't know. I don't have any opinion otherwise. But yeah, thank you. Staying happy. I know I'm not talking too much about GameStop because again, what else to talk about, you guys? It's the same thing. Not to say it's boring or anything, not to say that it's not valuable or anything like that. But because the price not doing anything right, people are not going to pay attention. But typically, that's when you want to buy. When people are not paying attention, when it's boring, you want to accumulate as much as you can, and all that stuff. I'm aware of that. Right now, telling you because of I can't pass this up and look at it. It's so good. And of course, with this too, right? Now, this could turn in a few days. Of course, this weekend is important because of the Fed decision. Next week, I think on Wednesday. So maybe this is in preparation of that, and then when the Fed announced the rate cut, dump, and then continue on the course. Okay. Um, like I said, they do this often because they want to pump and dump, get the liquidity going into the equity market, and then on the weekend it comes back to crypto market, whether it's up or down, right? Of course, they have the ability to bet up or down. So these are institution, okay, level type of traders over here. So typically, again, just pick and choose what crypto you want, and yeah, ready for the ride. And this is the season for it. Before I let you go though, but Raul Paul did a good segment on the fact that the crypto cycle is lengthened on the business cycle. because remember they were doing a 4-year loan, and now they are extended it to a 5-year loan. So that's why, what is it called? Let's see. The M2 money supply is still in play. If it follows the M2 money supply, it's going to be around 170 for Bitcoin. Gold has kind of crashed a little bit when it said crash from the high. And so typically Bitcoin will follow gold. Okay, whatever gold does, there is a lagging period in which Bitcoin's not doing anything. People are becoming pessimistic about Bitcoin moving, and then that's usually when the next legs go higher. Keep in mind, when there is a euphoria, when there's a bubble, typically you don't see people scared to buy into a Bitcoin. Okay. So they will come, retail will come to buy Bitcoin at, $500,000 a coin. Mark my word, for sure. For sure. Okay. And institutions know this. That's why they've been accumulating it. That's why they've been, quietly distributing it to themselves, buying it quietly while telling you that it's overpriced. JP Morgan come out and say, well, cockroaches and all that stuff, right? Well, that, yes, it's a concern, but it's not a concern for crypto markets. Okay. I know people would think that, this institution are owning more crypto than ever, right? Really? Um, Maybe there's a reason why they own it so much. Because they're planning to use it as collateral, to do crazy things again. So yeah, it's the only way. It's a deflationary asset in the inflationary world. They cannot fix the debt market, so they need to introduce some new infrastructure. Okay, and these type of thing are new infrastructure for the next generation. Okay, and so you are in the forefront of it. And it might take you another 10 years for people to realize, like, oh shit, this is the this is the direction that they want you to get into. But yeah, keep in mind there's so many new changes. Just be careful. Okay. And again, the fact that Jimmy have some Bitcoin in order to, hedge for inflation, that's also a good note to have to, as a company. All right. I think that's all I have for today, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have no idea how many people are in here, but thank you. Stay happy for reporting for attendance. I know, I'm sorry. Not talk too much about Jimmy in this segment. I really think uh, crypto is here to stay. And I'm happy to, yeah, see how things will go in the future. But yeah, I will let you go for now. And see you when I see you.